faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hi there, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, we're diving into the book Deadly Elements for you. The subtitle is The History of Poison. Poison was once the go-to tool for murder, especially back when tech wasn't advanced. It could slip past forensic checks, letting killers walk free. Today, I'll introduce you to the 5 deadly elements that were often used for poisoning in history. They include mercury, arsenic, and more. Hmm, Countless folks from ancient times to now, all over the world, have died unknowingly because of them. Even today, they're still around in all sorts of fields: food, medicine, cosmetics, industrial work, you name it, never leaving us. The author, John Emsley, did chemistry research and teaching at the University of London. Now, he's a resident science writer at Cambridge University's chemistry department, and back in 2003, he snagged the Writers' Award from the German Chemical Society. In Deadly Elements, Emsley doesn't just cover the chemistry of these elements, he also digs deep into how they've shaped history. From Napoleon and Beethoven's deaths to the Roman Empire's collapse, turns out these deadly elements were lurking in the shadows. And thanks to modern tech, we can find truths in these events that folks back then couldn't see. All right, now let's meet these 5 deadly elements one after another. First up is mercury. We all know it, called quicksilver, and it's the only metal that's liquid at room temp. I bet lots of you have read Alice in Wonderland, featuring a key character. A Mad Hatter, she's quirky, gets riled up easily, a bit neurotic, and acts all mad. Those Mad Hatter symptoms, well, they're classic signs of long-term mercury poisoning. Art comes from life. In the tale, the Mad Hatter is a hat maker. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, the hat-making business in the West had a real mercury poisoning problem. Sick hatters got irritable, paranoid, shaky, and couldn't stop babbling. There was a saying back then, as mad as a hatter. All this happened because hat makers used mercury nitrate on animal fur. Get exposed long enough and you're poisoned. Mercury's toxicity, well, it depends on the form. Liquid mercury, not so bad. Swallow a little and it probably won't kill you because it doesn't get absorbed in your gut. In the past, doctors even used liquid mercury as medicine. A small amount could stimulate the kidneys and act as a diuretic. Boom. It's said someone once drank a whole kilogram of mercury as a diuretic and survived. Yet beware, liquid mercury evaporates at room temperature, and once it becomes vapor, it reveals its devilish nature. Mercury vapor gets absorbed through the lungs, enters the bloodstream, travels to the brain, and causes mental disorders. For centuries, people didn't realize mercury vapor's danger, not even the great scientist Newton. In 1940, when a box of Newton's manuscripts, sealed for 250 years, was opened, people discovered something about this great scientist. And actually, he spent most of his time on alchemy. Newton believed ancient alchemists knew how to make gold from mercury. He'd often work through the night on mercury experiments, especially high-temperature heating, inhaling massive amounts of vapor. During his peak alchemy period, Newton wrote of suffering mental disturbances, severe insomnia, memory loss, persecution delusions, sometimes staying awake 5 nights straight, all classic mercury poisoning symptoms. Newton was notoriously irritable and showed lifelong psychotic tendencies. Later hair analysis revealed mercury levels 15 times normal, proving his paranoia was partly mercury-induced. Still, mercury vapor isn't the worst. At least Newton lived to 84. Mercury's deadliest forms are organic compounds, bound with carbon atoms. Take methylmercury explanation. In humans, it binds with sulfur atoms, disguises itself as amino acids, and flows freely through the body. Once in the brain, mercury separates from methyl, turning from organic to inorganic. Since brains can't expel inorganic mercury, it causes permanent brain damage. The deadliest? Dimethylmercury. flows freely between substances, and a pinprick-sized drop can kill. A U.S. chemist once accidentally got dimethylmercury droplets on her rubber glove during an experiment. Oh, he thought the gloves would protect him and didn't take them off right away, but dimethylmercury seeped through into his skin, poisoning him to death. What's even scarier is that any form of mercury can turn into deadly methylmercury under certain conditions, affecting all life from microbes to humans through the food chain. Oh, in 1956, Japan's Minamata disease outbreak that shocked the world was linked to methylmercury. Mm. Back then, Japan Nitrogen Fertilizer Company dumped industrial water source into Minamata Bay on Kyushu Island for years, including 600 tons of mercury. Oh, sea microbes converted mercury into methylmercury, spreading the disaster through fish to humans. Seabirds fell from the sky, cats jumped into the sea to die, dogs and pigs went mad, fishermen suffered insanity, convulsions, paralysis, blindness. Some died in agony. Just half an ear scoop of methylmercury can kill. At that time, the methylmercury levels in Minamata Bay were enough to poison twice Japan's population. Sadly, the factory didn't stop polluting. Instead, they covered it up and even used violence to block investigations. Oh, it took 12 years for the Japanese government to officially admit the waste caused mercury pollution. This event affected 2,265 people, with 1,784 deaths, one of humanity's most tragic environmental lessons. Right, we've covered mercury. Next is arsenic, tied to the infamous poison white arsenic, which is arsenic trioxide. Oh, actually, arsenic is an essential trace element. A 70-kilogram person has about 7 milligrams, and it can boost metabolism. Studies show arsenic meds can add weight. So, in the 20th century, folks added arsenic to animal feed to bulk up pigs and poultry. Oh, arsenic speeds up how cells produce energy. Some horse trainers used arsenic as a stimulant for racehorses to boost performance. But this is super risky. Just a little too much arsenic can cause harm. Oh, in the 19th century, farmers on the Austria-Spain border took arsenic trioxide, white arsenic, as a tonic, sprinkling it on bread and bacon like salt. Men claimed it gave them energy and boosted their mojo. Women who took it got curvier with rosy cheeks. Oh, this happened because arsenic destroyed capillaries under their skin. Some took arsenic daily for 40 years, exceeding lethal doses. That sounds absolutely unbelievable. But medical experiments later proved humans can build arsenic immunity through gradual dose increases. Please, never try this yourself. Oh, arsenic is history's top murder poison, especially white arsenic. Its vomiting and indiarrhea symptoms mimic common illnesses. No unique signs. Doctors rarely diagnosed it. One murderer poisoned 30-plus people undetected. History's most notorious poisoner was Agrippina, Nero's mother. To marry the emperor, she poisoned herself with white arsenic. Her former husband, the previous empress, and crown prince, all eliminated so her son Nero became heir. Later, she poisoned the emperor too. Arsenic murder wasn't just for royal plots, it thrived among commoners too. Oh, in France, arsenic was inheritance powder, bought secretly to murder relatives for wealth. Imagine how widespread it was. Among countless arsenic cases, Napoleon's death remains the most famous and puzzling. In 1821, Napoleon died in exile on St. Helena at just 52. Many believe he was poisoned. Oh, when his body returned to Paris 20 years later, it showed minimal decay, arsenic poisoning's hallmark since arsenic preserves tissue. Tests showed arsenic in his hair at 100 times normal levels. Scientists found uneven arsenic distribution in his hair strands. Hair grows approximately 0.35 millimeters daily, so segments reveal poisoning levels over time. In his last 6 months, arsenic levels fluctuated, first dropping, then rising. If intentionally poisoned, the dose should have been steady. Oh, why the fluctuation then? Oh, the book presents a unique theory. Napoleon was poisoned by wallpaper in his room. Sounds baffling. How can wallpaper kill? Arsenic was a key pigment for printing wallpaper back then. Arsenic-based pigments were widely used in the past. Orpiment and realgar are arsenic sulfides, showing bright yellow and red. Orpiment's golden color earned it names like royal yellow or king's yellow. In 1775, folks created a beautiful green using copper arsenite. Oh, this green was perfect for wallpaper, especially floral-themed ones. In the 19th century, 4/5 of European wallpaper contained arsenic. For a 40 square meter living room, the arsenic in wallpaper could theoretically kill over 100 people. But it doesn't jump off the wall, so where's the poison coming from? Wallpaper paste made from flour feeds microbes. Especially in damp environments, microbes multiply and convert arsenic into gas, poisoning the air. This explains Napoleon's fluctuating arsenic levels. Weather changes. Wet seasons boost microbes, releasing more gas than dry times. Now the problem, no one knew what Longwood House looked like when Napoleon died. How to prove the arsenic came from wallpaper. In 1980, a UK radio show raised this, mobilizing eager listeners. Oh, one listener recalled a family heirloom scrapbook with wallpaper from Napoleon's death room. An ancestor had visited in 1823 and torn it from the wall. Another listener had a painting depicting Napoleon's final room and compared the wallpaper in the painting matched the saved sample perfectly. Scientists analyzed it and found, sure enough, arsenic. Scaled to a full room, the arsenic was lethal. Oh, Napoleon likely chose this wallpaper himself. Its green and gold colors symbolized imperial power. If true, he essentially poisoned himself. Those wallpapers let him relive glory days, but also hastened his downfall. All right, arsenic's toxicity surely left an impression. Next is an element just as toxic as arsenic, but fascinatingly, it's its own antidote. That element is antimony, a metalloid between metal and nonmetal. Widely used in industry, it strengthens alloys. Bullet tips contain antimony, and varying amounts help trace bullet origins. Though toxic, antimony poisoning causes violent vomiting, expelling it before absorption. Thus, in a way, antimony is its own antidote. In medieval times, if you overate, you'd drink wine from an antimony cup next morning, inducing vomiting to empty your stomach. So to murder with antimony, you'd need to prevent vomiting, keeping it in the body long enough. In 19th century Russia, a killer used small, repeated doses on 3 girlfriends. They died slow, agonizing deaths. They wasted away from appetite loss and vomiting, dying of organ failure. But it looked like natural death or tuberculosis. Despite its toxicity, antimony was long used medicinally. Humans have used it to treat illnesses for over 3,000 years. Different antimony compounds treated different diseases, practically a cure-all. Beyond vomiting, it treated fever, smallpox, edema, even made into sweat inducers and weight loss drugs. In medieval times, people swallowed reusable antimony pellets for constipation, retrieved from waste, washed, and reused. These metal balls were passed down through generations in many families. But some of these varied medicines were later proven ineffective with severe side effects. Oh, some patients died of poisoning after treatment. This included Mozart. In 1791, a stranger commissioned him to compose a requiem for generous pay. But Mozart felt this requiem wasn't for the client, it was for himself. Proven true indeed. Months later, Mozart died while composing it. What killed this 35-year-old genius? Some say his wife's lover murdered him. Others claim he was silenced for exposing Freemason secrets. Oh, accidental antimony poisoning was proposed. Mozart had severe depression and took massive medication owing pharmacies all over Vienna, including antimony-based drugs. Later showing typhoid symptoms, doctors gave more antimony meds, worsening the poisoning. Though debates continue, Mozart's final companion might have been and antimony requiem. Next is thallium, deadly like arsenic, slow acting like antimony, a bluish-white soft metal with arsenic-like toxicity. Its horror? It mimics potassium, replacing it throughout the body to disrupt functions. Oh, in 1952, Agatha Christie wrote The Pale Horse, detailing thallium murder methods and symptoms. She was accused of teaching poisoners. But 2 decades later, this book saved the Qatari girl's life. When doctors couldn't diagnose her critical illness, hope seemed lost. A nurse suggested thallium poisoning, recalling a key symptom from the pale horse, hair loss, which matched the girl's condition perfectly. Oh, after timely detox treatment, the girl finally got her health back. Hair loss is a telltale sign of thallium poisoning. The thallium messes with hair follicles all over the body, making hair fall out. Even though this sign's obvious, thallium poisoning is super sneaky because symptoms take 1 or 2 days to show, and early on, they mimic stuff like fever or other sicknesses. And hair doesn't start shedding till about 10 days after ingestion, so docs often misdiagnose it. Because of this stealth, thallium's seen as the perfect weapon by some foreign govs to take out dissidents. Saddam's half-brother Barzan set up a medical poisons department at Baghdad University Medical School, focused on using thallium. They offed Saddam's political foes, using thallium sulfate to poison dozens of opponents during his rule in Iraq. Someone went to a Baghdad police station for a UK passport, drank some OJ handed by cops, and died upon landing in London. That OJ had thallium sulfate in it. Saddam's gov wasn't the only one using thallium poisonings. I think in 1990, Nelson Mandela, after 27 years in jail, was about to be freed. South Africa's government planned to slip thallium into his medications the day before release. Later, witnesses said the South African government formed a special ops group called Project Coast just to poison black leaders. Luckily, with apartheid ending, the plan to poison Mandela got scrapped. Thallium poisoning was thought incurable, but in 1969, Prussian blue was found as the best antidote. Used in dyes like blue ink, its potassium ions swap with thallium ions, forming a stable compound that gets flushed out. Many thallium poisoning victims have been saved by Prussian blue. We've covered mercury, arsenic, antimony, and thallium, mostly just stealing lives or health. Now, this next element's toxicity nearly toppled an empire that's lead. We all know it. Its uses are everywhere. Humans have mined lead for over 6,000 years. Lead use is part of civilized life. Oh, various utensils, coin minting, cosmetics, weapons, construction, and medicine all used lead. In ancient societies, more lead usage meant higher living standards. That the author argues lead partly destroyed the Roman Empire. How? There was a strange phenomenon. Rome's population stayed around 50 million. Despite abundant food and advanced science, population didn't grow. Especially nobles and rulers had shockingly low birth rates. The culprit was lead. Rome mined and used 20 million tons of it. Romans stored drinking water in lead cisterns, transported through lead pipes, drank from lead vessels. Diet-wise, they loved sapa sweetener, boiling sour wine in lead pots, creating lead acetate. It tasted sugary, but one spoonful contained lethal lead levels. A popular recipe book had 85 of 450 dishes requiring this sweetener, also widely used in winemaking. So from food to drink, Rome was lead contaminated. Commoners ingested approximately 35 milligrams lead daily. Nobles, up to 250 milligrams. Partying nobles often died suddenly in their 20s, 30s. Several emperors had no heirs. Others had intellectually disabled children due to lead. In 18th to 20th centuries, British nobles repeated Rome's mistakes. They used lead crystal for drinks, lead-glazed pottery for food, took lead-based meds, used lead pigments. Gout plagued upper-class men because, like Rome, their wine was lead contaminated. Lead disrupts urinary function, increasing blood uric acid that forms joint crystals, causing gout. Victims weren't just British. German composer Handel likely created his masterpiece while lead poisoned. Handel adored wine and suffered terribly from gout. Beethoven, too, was chronically lead poisoned. His cups and utensils were loaded with lead. Oh, lead levels in his hair were 100 times normal. His deafness likely from lead poisoning, damaging nerves, and it was the top white pigment then. Van Gogh loved sucking paint off brushes. His bizarre behavior matched lead poisoning symptoms perfectly. Some say Raphael and Michelangelo were lead paint victims too. Its dangers might have been known. In the 16th century, Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice had suitors choose among gold, silver, and lead caskets for Portia. Only one held Portia's portrait. Oh, it was the lead casket, bearing the warning. Who chooses me must give and risk all he hath. Yet people kept using lead, with tragic costs. In the 1960s, 90% of U.S. cars used leaded gasoline. Lead poisoning deaths soared. The author called it a world driven mad by lead. Not until the 1980s did scientist Claire Patterson break industry resistance and wake the public to lead's threat. After banning leaded gas, U.S. kids' blood lead levels dropped over 75% in just years. We've covered mercury, arsenic, antimony, thallium, and lead, 5 deadly elements. With modern science, we don't treat them as medicine or delicacies like ancients did. So why learn about them now? Oh, they never left, just got sneakier and more unexpected, like dental fillings made from mercury compounds. When cremated mercury in teeth vaporizes into the air, in the UK, crematoriums emit 20% of the nation's mercury pollution. PET plastic contains antimony. We know plastic's toxic, but few realize recycled plastic gets spun into clothing fibers. So antimony enters our clothes. Many keep Nuhong Jidu tablets for detox, but some pop them after hot pot or a pimple, thinking it prevents issues. Oh, little do people know, Nuhong Jidu tablets contain arsenic-rich realgar. Overuse causes poisoning, even death. Lead pollution is everywhere, far beyond just banning leaded gasoline. In Europe, cheap lead sheets are still used for roofing and waterproofing today. The 2019 Notre Dame fire melted 300 tons of lead, spiking nearby air lead levels by 400 times. For centuries, the dual nature of these deadly elements has been clear. Used wisely, they're medicine and progress boosters. Abused recklessly, they become life-threatening devils. Nature tolerates no excess. Humanity's choices determine our fate against heavy metal pollution. All right, that concludes our reading of Deadly Elements for you. Reading notes below the audio. See you tomorrow.